Okay.
I want to change my view as well. Let me see. All right. It's putting me off slightly. Let's have a look. Oh, no, don't want that. All right. Oh, dear. Oh, I'm trying to change it for the better and it's not working out. Oh, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Tell me what's been happening.
Yeah, so I mean on our front things have actually been pretty excited. We got a grant from Force of Nature, the
Right.
UK-based
Right.
nonprofit I told
Mm-hmm.
you about. I think when we first met in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
yeah, it's really good. So through our partnership now with Force of Nature, we have to host 12 climate cafes.
Right.
And
Right. Mm-hmm.
in terms of
Mm-hmm.
funds, like I'm using them for like free beverages, coffee and tea for people. So
Excellent.
we,
Excellent. Good. Good. Yeah.
yeah, and yesterday we actually had our first climate cafe in partnership with them. We met at the Shepherd's Cup in Sheepshead, which is pretty close to Murray Park, which is where like we like normally meet. And yeah, it was a pretty good turnout. We had like 8 or 9 people. Some like new
Good.
faces, some people who have been
Yeah.
returning. And yeah, I'm looking forward to
Excellent.
it because, now it's
Mm.
like, it's kind of it's driving us to, just to keep moving forward with this program.
Yeah, brilliant. And so, what are your topics of discussion? What do you talk about? I guess it's things that locally you can do as opposed to global pictures and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
so when we first started, we were following like the model of Climate Cafe NYC, and that is more focused about like climate emotions, like how does climate change make you feel?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
that like eco anxiety and certain feelings of associated with climate change. But now we're using more of that I guess you could say the original model from the Climate Cafe Hub based in the UK that I assume that you are affiliated with through your Climate
Yes.
Cafe, and those are not facilitated from what I know. So now
Right.
ours are like very like lightly facilitated, I guess you could say.
Okay. I am not sure because I haven't had first-hand experience of our climate cafe. That's Pete and Callum. And actually, Pete was not able to join on this. He could only let us in. And Callum has not been well and he's still not back up and running. So Pete's kind of been trying to look after that whilst look after everything. So it's kind of fallen by the wayside a bit. And one of the things I'll talk you through our strategy. We got together in January and we thought we would get all strategic and get a plan for the year, and we're kind of working to that. But one of the things we were talking about was doing a climate cafe on tour. So it wouldn't just be in Portobello Beach. We would go like all around the city, a different venue, every month. And it was just such a good idea, but we've not quite been able to get off the ground yet because Pete's still on the actions for a while has been for Pete to speak to the existing volunteers, and talk about them taking more things on and how they shape it just at Portobello itself. So yeah. And I know, and you guys are still kind of not political. You try and steer away from the political stuff.
So it's actually interesting that you brought that up. Yeah, I mean to answer your question, we don't really talk about like politics at our climate cafes. But now I
Mm.
think I want to start maybe get into like the lobbying, protesting
Okay.
aspect. There's a gentleman by the name of Carlos, he's running for I'll be honest, I don't entirely know it's very like a very localized like position that he's running for in southern Brooklyn. And I went to the local coffee shop today, just to get like a tea, and I actually ran into him again. And he asked me like, Sam, would you want to get more into like like the lobbying aspect? And I said, yeah, certainly, in
Good.
especially like in regards to climate.
Excellent. Yeah, I like to hear that. Brilliant, brilliant. Good. Yeah. Um, Yeah, because that's kind of what we've been at. So am I okay to kind of go on to I'll just give you kind of touch points on what we've been doing for the
Yeah,
past few months. That's
yeah.
okay. Yeah, so we had a bit of a kind of hiatus in December. We sort of had a couple of meetings where we went, right, okay, well, this is what we've been doing. Do we want to continue with that? is there evidence behind that working? What do we feel that we've been achieving and what do we want to achieve? And from that, we then got together in January and went, okay, well, we wanted to kind of change certain things and we want to be closer to people. We want to go where people are more. That seemed to be what the political parties were doing, particularly the ones on the right that seemed to be making inroads at that time. So we thought, yeah, we want to kind of replicate that model because it really seems to have traction. So what we decided for the year, well, loosely was we would focus kind of on three things. Well, the Climate Cafe on tour aside. So we would be building like a sort of, because the Scottish Government elections are in a couple of weeks on the 7th of May. So that's for, the main party for Scotland, basically. So, and as I say, the sort of parties on the right, one in particular called Reform, we're starting to make real inroads, and they stand for anti-immigration, anti-equality, fossil fuels big time. It would be just a big, big step back in progress overall kind of thing. So we thought, well, we can't be doing this all by ourselves, but we really need to challenge this. So we thought we would do an anti-right and anti-reform campaign until the elections. But we also kind of wanted to do our old activities, like our summer festivals and things that we do, where we speak to general members of the public and we get them involved and we do sort of crafts for kids and just, general things to promote, anti-climate change activities and make it a pleasant thing to think about, make it, a fun thing for people to get involved with kind of thing. But other ways to sort of engage, like film screenings, I think we've spoken about that in the past. So I actually had one of those just last week. It was not directly related to the climate, but it was the wellbeing economy, which is all about an economy that serves people and planet and not the other way around kind of thing. So it wasn't really through the Climate Coalition, although we had a couple of members there. So yeah, we've not really had time because we've been focusing on the anti-reform campaign. But I would say, and then summer is busy with the festivals, but maybe in autumn time we can then think of kind of more film screening. But the anti-right campaign has been going really well. So we looked at the city and we looked at, the demographic and to see the figures of where these guys seem to be doing better. And the old kind of chair coordinator of the coalition, Luke, has been spearheading it, and he's a good leader. And so people have been going out every weekend, every Saturday morning in a different area with a leaflet that we've drawn up all about why you should choose a party that considers climate change and especially renewables over fossil fuels for, energy security and to get away from the global roller coaster, which we're always going to be on, even if we have our own local produced fossil fuels. So yeah, we're just having good chats. We're in quite an area of deprivation yesterday, but it's quite a mixed area with a lot of migrants too. And we had great chats with your kind of, older and newer communities across the board. There was quite a lot of interest. And, we would always, even if people were passing us by, we had a sort of strap line to say, well, mine was, vote for climate, vote for the NHS, vote for everything you hold dear, and don't vote for reform. And a lot of people turned around and said, there's no way we'd be voting for them anyway. So yeah, so that has all been good. So we'll see the way it pans out on the 7th of May. And then we can have a pause for breath and then get together. We're going to be working with some fellow climate groups like Friends of the Earth Scotland are quite big here. Do you have is that a global thing, Friends of the Earth, or is it just a UK based thing?
We've certainly had that has a branch in the US for sure. I'm not sure about the rest
Right,
of the world.
right. Okay. So right, all right. Yeah, so yeah, probably it's global then. So yeah, we've got a Scotland and we've got a UK one, and we're in touch with them. We want to have like a post-election strategy meeting with the climate groups across Edinburgh to say, yeah, what do we do and where can we kind of join together collectively, to not duplicate effort and to best use effort kind of thing. So yeah, so that's us. So it's quite exciting.
Certainly.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, but I mean your members, especially was there sort of like a lady, a sort of who had a kind of Asian looking lady anyway, if you're
Yes,
allowed to say
Yoko.
that. Yeah, so she was talking a lot about local things. That's right, her name was Yoko, of course. about using, and promoting like, eco-friendly detergents and soaps and things like this, and making sure that people in their day-to-day lives were definitely, using these and refilling where they could and that type of thing. So she's still there and she's still active with all of
Yes.
that. She
She
is
actually
great.
came to our climate cafe yesterday.
You did, right, right,
Yes.
right. Excellent. Good stuff. Because, yeah, I mean, that's kind of stayed with me because she was quite strong to say, well, we want to know what your members are doing in this regard the next time we meet. And I thought, "Oh, okay, so closing the sale like that does cement it in your mind. That was a bit of a lesson. So tell her that I certainly have been following her lead,
Okay.
as doing as much as possible. And the other thing is that I've had a hip problem that came about as a result of an operation that was meant to make it better and has not at all. So I have a car, which I didn't use much, but still used it, for necessity. But it's been kind of lying dormant for the past year and a half. So I've been doing lots and lots by public transport, even like longer journeys that I normally would have been more convenient to take a car. So even that, is has taken hold with me. And myself and a friend are going to the south of England for a holiday in September. And we could have driven or taken the train or we could have flown. And to fly is by far and away the quickest way because to by train and by car it's about maybe 9, 10 hours kind of thing. And but I said, look, I said I can't fly because you've got to be the change that you want to see in the world. And that
Yes.
our flight, it's all perverse, the incentives. It's a fraction of the price. And it's yeah, it just but fraction of the price and fraction of the time, but I still can't bring myself to do it. Yeah, so
I
I
mean,
just
it's
pass
in
on that for me.
it's interesting that you brought up about, about asking us about getting more into like we speak about politics. So just for a bit of context, I think I mentioned this before, but our program runs through a not-for-profit called the Marine Park Young Adults Association. And we do a lot of programming for young adults to just because in this part of Brooklyn, it's not near Manhattan. It's like, it's like Southern Brooklyn, so just for
Yes,
people
yeah.
like, young adults particularly, it could be difficult just to, make friends. So I started this in June of 2024, and we really just started out doing movie nights, game nights, and then like, like service, like cleanups at like like certain like landmark houses in the neighborhood and stuff like that. And since June of last year, that's when we actually started the climate cafe. And that's like open to everyone because even through the org, we do our open community events. So we do like some movie nights at this place it's called the Lot House. And it's like open to everyone. We do like concerts. We're doing like it's like a paint the night in May at the coffee shop that we normally meet at. But so just for like context, we're a not-for-profit with the state of New York, but we're not a nonprofit with the IRS yet. But I want to file us as a 501(c)(4), and it's interesting because as a 501(c)(4), you could actually lobby for like you could get involved with like, politicians and lobby on certain issues and stuff like that. Like I I've kind of
I want to
transitioned
get
us
into that.
away from more of like a social club and more into
Mhm.
like a civic organization, I guess you could say, you know. So
Yeah,
as a
yeah,
501(c)(4), we could certainly lobby on
right,
issues and stuff
right.
like that. And, especially for like climate, that's one of the main reasons I want to do it.
Right, that's great. So you'd be more activists than
Yes,
interested citizens coming together to share discussion on a joint topic and share, activities on a joint topic kind of thing. Great, great, good, good.
And it's a good time, Sam, to be doing that because in New York State, the legislature, it's budget season in the New York State legislature right now, and they are debating rolling back some of the climate law provisions, some of the targets, and also some of the sector specific funding and targets.
certainly.
So it's a good time to lobby the New York State government.
Yeah, yeah, because you've got your city mayor and then you've got the state, yeah, and the governor is who looks after that, then I take it, yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have elections with that coming up? How does that work?
Yeah, so I just for context, I was in public service, my previous job with the New York State government. So I was the general counsel of the New York Green Bank, which is part of this whole architecture. Um, the next gubernatorial election, I'm pretty sure is 20, it might be next year. She's definitely in her second term. And she's
Hmm.
been relatively good on green energy, but just lately, in view of all of the energy security stuff everyone's going through, they're going to reopen a nuclear facility here in New York State, and there's a lot of lobbying for more gas facilities and a gas pipeline. So it's kind of that debate is what's happening in the New York State legislature,
Right,
which
right.
is so it
Yeah,
remains pretty firmly democratic, but the state, unfortunately, the state government has a not very efficient system of negotiation for different laws that lawmakers will propose, and it tends to happen right around now because this is the budget season for the state government.
right. Okay. So this is a good time then to be doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, yeah, no, that's great. It's the same here. The public are, there's a big misconception that if we start to produce our own fossil fuel based energy, then, well, our own in inverted commas, if we start to drill more in the North Sea and open this gas power station on the north coast of Scotland as proposed, then we'll have greater energy security. But it's a complete miscomprehension because the companies that would own that and be doing that are global companies, and
Mm,
the oil and gas would just go on the global market, the same as any other oil and gas goes, and it would go for the best price to whatever
exactly.
destination. Yes, it's not going to
Yeah.
necessarily come here, and there's no way they're going to be cutting deals with the government for that. So that's kind of a
Right.
part of the reason we're getting out to speak to people. That's maybe something else you want to do too, is to get that doesn't even have to be political. That just is about renewables versus fossil fuels. And we're just saying that it's not going to have a hand in energy security at all, and we're always going to be vulnerable to these shocks. And it just galls me because had we just transitioned 20 years ago as we should have, then we wouldn't be at the mercy of the Straits of Hormuz. I mean, who even knew that name, a month, 2 months ago? I certainly didn't. So yeah, that might be so. That's yeah, people power with that is strong too. But and how much? Because I know that the States is going very anti renewable and going, along the fossil fuel line. How much power does each individual state have to go, well, we're going to do our own thing and invest in renewables and whatnot?
Politically and economically, each state has enormous power. There is one
Right.
federal energy regulator, but it only regulates the connections between states and the
Right.
building of certain large facilities. So, New York State, for example, has an electric grid. It has had a mandate for since 2019 to decarbonize the entire grid, and that is across the state government, not just even the energy regulator. The
Okay.
problem, though, is that one of the big links for that grid and decarbonizing it was offshore wind, and
Right.
all of those some of those projects have been completed and are part of the grid now, feeding power into Long Island mostly. But others of them are stuck in litigation because there are federal seabed leases, so that is the link that the Trump administration can use to try and halt them,
Right.
right,
Right.
by stopping
Right.
orders. But so far, they've won in every court case. Like it's 5-5 right now.
Okay, okay, right, right, okay, okay, okay. Right, that's yeah, that's good, great, fantastic. Yeah, you see, the UK just look and we just hear that the top line stuff about the federal government and we go, oh, that's a disaster. Oh my God, how are these people sleeping at night? And like everybody's worried sick. So yeah, but we also have a comprehension that states do have power as well. We just don't know how much power and whether it's the same as us and our devolved government and that kind of thing. Because energy is
Yeah,
not devolved at all. Well, no, it is no, it's not devolved, but certain things like the power station that's planned for the north coast of Scotland it's gone through the planning process. I'm not quite sure the difference between that and a big oil field that's proposed off the kind of well northeast coast kind of thing. But
mhm.
so yeah, by and large, we don't have control over our energy stuff. So we really
Wow.
have to get canny. Well, you've got a good person here, Sam. You've got Catherine, who's an
Yes.
expert in the whole thing. Great, great, good,
I'm just
good.
trying to recover from a week during which we we closed a transaction in the Middle East, a renewable energy fund platform that we invested into. They're based in Jordan, and it was the week that the administration was sending all kinds of crazy social media messages about annihilating whole civilizations. So they
Oh,
looked
oh,
terrified, as you can imagine, but we managed to get it done.
oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank God. So their sanity is happening.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
we
Great.
made sure that the documents say that the projects were built in more in North Africa, where it's safer from the war. But yeah, I mean, it's still there's
Right,
still investment
right.
happening, and people are not crazy all over the
Yeah.
world.
Right, that's that. I'm just going to make a note of these things because I want to bring these up at our meeting on Thursday night because there'll be a lot of interest in this actually. Mm,
Yeah, that
good.
one interestingly
Yeah.
had support from the US government through one of its international investment arms, the International Finance Corporation. So I can
Uh-huh.
send you the press release
Yes,
because it was a
please.
big grand meeting.
That That would be very useful, actually. And I'm just thinking, so we now, one of the other things we did was I work quite closely in work with a local university. And I reached out to them to see whether they could give us, a student or something to help us with social media, because we recognize that it's quite a weakness of ours and we wanted to get better. So we've got this guy called Aaron who's just been fearless and a breath of fresh air. And we've got another young person as well. She's been great. And getting us all sorted digitally and stuff. And so we're now on Instagram, and he's been doing some really inventive like reels and campaigns and things like that. So if you're on Instagram and want to follow us, then please do. That's something
Sure.
that is relatively new.
I
Um, but what I can do is I can send you certainly the leaflet, the anti-right leaflet with all the sort of arguments about renewable energy on the back. And that might be some, you can take to your meeting and food for thought about things that you might want to bring up yourself.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
I did actually see that the that you created an Instagram because I was looking on your
I
site and I'm like, oh,
am.
that's new.
Good,
And I'm like, yeah,
good.
that's good because Instagram is, it's interesting that you brought it up because Instagram, a lot of people my age use it. A lot of us are not really on like Facebook, so for that,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
intergenerational dialogue, Instagram is really good for, capturing, if you
Yeah,
want to reach like
yeah.
a younger audience.
Hmm, hmm,
I'm just curious, like at your climate cafes, I mean, what do you, I know you said you're not like too involved with them, but like,
yeah.
because yesterday, I mean, we did speak about like, how does climate change make you feel? But I want to get more into like the thematic elements, like yesterday we had a whole discussion about like AI. And I'm surprised
Hmm.
we've never actually like brought it up, but I just said, what is, in regard to climate, what is everybody's, opinion of AI? And we really spearheaded it about, how it's almost not going away, and just how to use it responsibly.
Yes, yeah, yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because we've got a big issue here with data centers, and a lot's going through the planning process just now. And Edinburgh Council have put a kind of moratorium on them because the process is not set up correctly for their assessment. It just goes through a normal impact assessment, whereas it should go through a specific process. But where I work is East Lothian, so it's kind of south and east of Edinburgh. It's a beautiful, beautiful region, but there are two planned for there, and they're just obviously really energy hungry and really water hungry and everything too. And there's plans, yeah, talking of nuclear reactors, there's plans. There's the last remaining, I think it's the last one, nuclear power station in Scotland on the coast of that region, and there's plans to keep that going and put a data center beside it, and that will then like fuel the data center. So we're just going, oh God, what it couldn't get any worse. So
Yeah, and in
yeah.
New York State, I can say from the meeting I had most recently with the ISO. So we don't have a federal system of power regulation, but there are independent system operators that meter demand in different regions of the United States. So in our region, it's called the New York Independent System Operator, and I was in a meeting with the very excellent nerds that do all the data for them, and they are predicting that in New York State, the grid will not have enough power to meet all of residential demands and also all of the planned. data centers. So that means effectively brownouts and blackouts for New York City residents, which is, this is a huge city with people who are living in vulnerable places, particularly as
Mhm.
other kinds of climate change effects start to hit. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm with you, Sam, in saying it's here and we need to use it responsibly. I do think there's some space for regulation and or temporary moratoriums while we figure out how to meet demand.
Yeah, I would concur with that. Absolutely. Because yeah, search on AI is 50 times more energy hungry than just a search on a normal search engine. And it can hallucinate madly. I mean, I switched medication on the basis of a result from AI last year and got into terrible side effects.
Oh wow.
Because it wasn't actually, and I should have checked it out properly, but I was really naive to it. And it wasn't indicated exactly for the condition that I had. And that was a real learning process. I mean, it was quite awful, actually, the effect of it. So ever since then, I've just gone, no, 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 no. And you get the little kind of summary at the top, and that's fine. But you've got the links and stuff underneath. I usually do click into those. So yeah, just yeah, taking it, And there was a program I heard on radio the other day. A guy has written a book called The New Dark Ages, and it was talking about, AI and algorithms and whatnot, and saying he is encouraging people to read more from original sources because whatever you search for will be what the algorithms keep on throwing up at you. But there's also that vested interest there in the people that are controlling the platforms. So that's what can then be fed you, and then that's going to shape the way of thinking. I just thought, yeah, I mean, and that should be obvious, but it's not when you're in the throes of your busy daily life. But yeah, I mean, I've been running out of, I just changed mobile phone contract, and I've been running out of data recently, so I've not been able to use it when I'm out and about. And at first I thought, oh, what a pain. But I've been looking out of the window on the bus, and today I read like the Edinburgh Festival Guide, and I've like kind of ticked off some shows that I want to go and see, and I'm finding life so much less stressful, not having this thing, demanding your attention 24/7. It's been really nice. So I don't think I'm going to change my contract at all. It's great. It's just fantastic. But anyway, yeah, I must go in like a minute or two. Catherine, your pancakes look beautiful. You lucky thing.
Thank you. It was
You
quite
need to
yummy.
go. You definitely need to go. So, okay, so we'll do another catch up in 3 months. Is that okay? Two, three
Yeah.
months?
I
Yeah.
just had one
Oh yeah.
question.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just really curious about like the way that you like lobby for like Parliament and stuff like that, because I think that we could maybe implement some of your strategies here. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
really
yeah.
curious about like the way that you like go about it.
Yeah, and sorry, I didn't answer your question, how the climate cafes were structured. I don't think we ever did it by theme. I think it was that the stalwarts would be there and they'd have deck chairs and bonfires and stuff on the beach, and then people would come along if they had a question or an issue or whatever. But they always had really, really rich discussions, and it was a really popular thing. So it was quite casual, but the people there were very knowledgeable. And really keen to engage people. That's, mainly Callum and Pete. So yeah, that's the way it always went. No, like let's say in the city of Edinburgh, we live in different areas, and so we have a different what's called like a list or we've got some different constituencies. So we'll have one MSP member of the Scottish Parliament for that constituency, but we'll have I think is it 8 regional MSPs. So they're the same for the whole of the region, the whole of Edinburgh, as I understand anyway, the whole of the Lothians. So if it was myself, yeah, we would anyway, as a group, collectively look at who our MSP is and then say, okay, well, so you're covering them, so then we've got a good spread of parties, or it could be that we need to, target one particular party because one is doing okay, but the other one is starting to say stuff that's not correct and whatnot, and we need to, to let them know that's not right. So we kind of do it like that, and we've got a variety of methods. So we actually get quite a lot through from your likes of Friends of the Earth and the big campaign groups that say here is our campaign, and here is a link to sending your MSP a letter. So all you need to do is fill in your name and your address, and then it'll populate with your MSPs. You can change it if you want, but you don't have to. And then that will auto send a letter. So that's one way that you do it. Or you can write to them yourself, or as a group, one of us would go, well, I'm going to make a template letter for MSPs, but people can amend it, kind of thing. Send that around the group, and we can amend it. So that's one way. Another way, they have surgeries, so that's when they meet the public in a meeting once a month or whenever it is. And if people have got time during the day, then they can actually go along and actually speak to them. And this is probably more effective, obviously, because you're right there in front of them. But of course, it's more time onerous, and it can be a bit more unruly and a bit more daunting for people to undertake that. So certainly, when I had time, or when I do have time, if there's something that's really important to me, then I will try and do that. Otherwise, it's the kind of letter route that I go down. And what I would say is, if it's the letter route, then make sure that you're keeping a track and that you make sure you get a response. And if, say, within a week you've not even had an acknowledgement, then you write to them again, or you call their office or something like that. So I would say a spreadsheet with your action and then the follow-up points to that, and what the response then is, and whether you're happy with the response or whether you request to meet them as a result, is the way to do it. It's a kind of chip thing. And one other thing, actually, so Friends of the Earth also organise kind of like a mass lobby once a year. That's usually September, when we go to Parliament, lots and lots and lots of us, and the MSPs are aware, and they come along and they meet with constituents and they talk about whatever the pertinent, climate issues are. And that I did that last year, and it was good, but you tend to get the usual suspects. So the people that are into the climate movement already. So what we kind of concluded after it was, we need to target the ones that didn't turn up, because they're the ones that are not interested, and that, they need to know that we are interested. So this needs to be on your agenda. But that then fell off our agenda with busyness, and we didn't actually do it. But that's very important. So yeah, I hope that gives you an indication. It wasn't too much of a ramble.
Yes.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, uh, you know, thanks for the insight.
Yeah, I guess your guys will also hold kind of, there's a Natalie as well, let her in. Will also hold like sort of surgeries where they meet the public, days when they're in their constituency, or whatever you call it, in Brooklyn or New York, and you can actually go along and meet them.
We call that a town hall or office
Right.
hours. Sometimes if you go to see a legislator in their office.
Okay, right, right. That sounds very posh.
Well, when you say surgery for us, that means like going to the doctor or having an
Yes.
operation.
It does. When I first encountered that, I thought, why on earth? Goodness. But yeah, I suppose it is sorting people's problems. That's what it's supposed
Yeah,
to be.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, I think that's probably the best. But yeah, I think the of everything, and the follow-up, and you're making sure that action comes of it, is the most important thing. I think it is, yeah. Hello, Natalie. Um, I am sorry, but I'm gonna have to go, because my house is in a state of flux with a decorator coming this week. You can probably hear, but she's probably searching madly for her unmute button and stuff.
Yes. Sorry,
Oh,
I am late to the meeting.
that's okay, Natalie. You're a ray of sunshine, as in your name. Whatever time you come along. But nice to meet you briefly.
Hope to join another meeting like this again. My timing was not matching today.
That's okay, no problem at all. Why don't we try and do the end of June? So
Yeah.
then it could be like March, June, September, December kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
can do like a little Christmas one as well. I uncovered your Christmas message, Sam, where it was like happy holidays from the South Brooklyn Climate Cafe. I sent that around our members, and they thought it was lovely. And it's all your kind of language that you use for Christmas. So it was really sweet. Yeah, it was
Thank
really
you.
nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'll ask Pete. Well, I'll mark on the calendar and make sure that Pete sends a link maybe 2 or 3 weeks before.
Okay.
But do you want to set a date just now actually for June? Does that work? Or do you want to see when your climate cafe is supposed to be in June?
I say we just wait, so maybe we could do it when we do the actual climate cafe.
Right, is that better for you then?
Yes.
Yeah. And is that because you said you had one yesterday, so is that on a Saturday now?
Well, we only met on a Saturday because we met at a place that was called the Shepherd's Cup, and they're closed on Sunday. But we normally meet on a Sunday.
Right. It's usually on a Sunday, right?
Yes.
Fine. Okay. Well, if you can let me know when it is going to be in June, then, and we will try and accommodate that.
Okay.
That's fine. Father's Day is the 21st, and that's also my niece's birthday. But if it needs to be that day, I can Skype you from the little party we'll have, and they can say hello as well.
Okay.
You get to meet my Scottish family. And we would love to meet you guys. Totally love it. Okay, brilliant. Right, okay, keep up the good work, guys. And Sam, if you want any more on the lobbying stuff, then please let me know.
Okay.
Um, and I'll send you the anti-reform stuff just now.
Okay.
Lovely.
Quick
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Angela. See
Thank
you.
you.